Hi, I'm Alex Zaves, and welcome to the Arts and Crafts Show. You've got your acceptance letter. Congratulations, you're in the show. If you're a first-timer, first-time show, you're going to make sure you have your business license to collect sales tax. You probably already have that, but if not, it'll be on your paperwork in the show, who to contact. If they don't offer you that, then you just go to the resale license tax people, and they'll set you up with a number, and you're ready to take sales tax. Many of you who already have a resale license and you're branching out to go to other states, you will have to do the same process of getting resale license tax numbers from each and every other state that you're going to do. Pay that, and then you pay that tax. I did a show in Indiana many years ago, and before I signed up at the information booth to get my packet to set up at the show, I had to go to this other booth, which was the tax people, the revenue people, who wanted $25 for a business license. Just a one-show deal for me in Indiana. And then they gave me the form to fill out for the sales tax. I collected the sales tax, and at the end of the show, I handed it back into them, and I was done. I'm doing a show this year in North Dakota, and I have to pay the North Dakota. I'm collecting the North Dakota sales tax. I got to collect the city tax, and there is a county tax. So I have to make sure I have all the numbers together, because when I charge my customers sales tax, I put it on top of my price. So if my price is $10 and it comes to, I guess, 7% or 7.5%, then it would be $10.75. And approximate, okay? I'm just kind of off the top of my head. So you need to keep track. I mean, you can keep track of this state sales tax really easily, because, you know, the state and the city also sometimes has a 1% sales tax. You got to collect that as well. And then the county may have a 1/4 of 1%, and there could be dozens or 100 different counties throughout the state with all these very strange names. And you don't know that the city is in that county, and yet you're supposed to collect the county tax. Because this happened to me one time. I collected in North Dakota, I collected the state tax and the city tax, and I didn't know that there was a county that the city was in. And I filed my paperwork, and they sent me back a letter saying that I didn't collect the county tax. Well, yeah, and I had to pay it. So that came out of my profit margin. Luckily, it was only 1/4 of 1%, but you got to keep track of that. So think about that. And then the other thing you got to keep track of, let's say your show is in July, but the tax rules change July 1st. They usually change July or January, so they'll change. So if it's 6% before July 1st, it could be 6.5% after July 1st. And if you don't collect the correct amount, then you're going to have to pay for that out of your pocket, out of your profit, when you file your form for the state that you're in. In my particular case, I'm only doing one show in Fargo, North Dakota this year. It's at the end of August. And I've already contacted them, and they've given me my card. I've got my card, 6 by 9 inches. I have to display that in my booth so all the customers can see it, but mostly the tax people can see it, because when they come around, they want to make sure that you're legit. And so I'm doing it, and then they give me 30 days. They'll send me a form in the mail, and after 30 days, I'll submit all the taxes that I collected, send it to them, free and clear, I'm done. Whereas I'm doing some shows in Minnesota this year, and Minnesota is different. Okay, you don't have to put a card out on your booth, because each show, and I've got 9 shows, each show will collect from you a form, a compliance form. I don't have it right. Oh yeah, I do have it. It's a operator certificate of compliance. Very simple to fill out. Your name, the show's name, what kind of work that you do, your business license number to collect sales tax. You sign it and submit it. Now, the way they collect the tax is that every year, before February of the following year, you submit it online through the internet. Whereas, in North Dakota, I just mail it in with a check. So I go ahead and submit it to Minnesota, and I will fill out all the forms online, and they make it very simple. It's not difficult. And then I go ahead and give them my bank account number, and I'm finished, and I paid all my sales tax that I collected for the 8 shows that I've done. And it's very important you keep track of everything that you sell. I would suggest you get a journal, a very fancy, nice booklet that you can keep, and you document what you're pretty much doing every day, especially at the shows. You write down everything that you can. I know you're going to be busy and you might be writing a little sloppy, but you got to keep track of what you've got, because if it ever comes time that they want to audit you, you're going to want to be able to have proof of what you've sold and how much tax you've collected. I know that one in New York City, there was somebody at the show who did not pay their sales tax. They came in at the beginning of the show when it was all set up in the morning, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. They hauled the guy off with the police and they took him out of there. They collected his entire booth, and whether they held that for collateral or not, we don't know how it ended up, but the tax people came in there. They wanted their money. This is serious. And I suggest that you keep very good records of what you're doing at the show for other reasons as well. Because also, once you sell more than $400 of what you're selling, then you've also got to apply other things like self-employment tax is inside there. You keep track of expenses like advertising costs. Your business cards are considered advertising. If some of the shows have brochures, for all the artists that are in the show, and they have 2-inch by 2-inch advertising you can buy, you can also take out an ad in their brochure. That's called advertising. You can deduct it off your Schedule C taxes in the future at the end of the year. Of course, there's utilities and all your business expenses, but it's very important that you keep track in your journal. Okay, you write down how much when did you start to leave for the show? What's your mileage? And then when you come back at the end of your journal, at the end of the weekend, you write down what the end mileage is. That mileage from beginning to end, you can deduct it from your taxes on your Schedule C, and you'll get, you can write off like 54 cents per mile. It varies a little bit from year to year, but that's about what you're going to get. But your sales tax is important to collect. Now, I can't speak for all states. Like I said, some of them don't even have a sales tax. There's probably a handful of them out there. I think Alaska is one of them. Some of the smaller shows, I can't speak for that, whether people collect or not. I've seen people at the shows where they don't collect sales tax, and when you ask them, you collecting sales tax, they go, yeah, I just included in the price. And believe you me, customers, when I charge on top of the price, they say, well, why are you charging this? Because I have to charge. This is the rules. But they said, but they're not. And I said, I don't know what they're doing, okay? I've had somebody come to my show. Well, I've had several ask questions, but one in particular, I remember they were asking a lot of questions about sales tax and did I collect? And it was it felt really strange because I usually have customers ask me about my artwork, and they were not asking me so much about my artwork as much as they were asking about me collecting tax. And I showed them how I collect tax. I kept everything up front, and I showed them, I keep a track of it, and I even give a sheet for the customers to can see so it's transparent. And they said that they were with the sales tax office. He was with the sales tax office, so. Yeah, and he says, I'm glad you charge sales tax because I'm from out of state, and I had everything up front, and so you need to keep charge of your sales tax, and you need to be aware that every time you sell something, you've got to charge sales tax. Whether you do or not is your business, and whether you are a full-timer, then you'll follow the rules 100%. There's a few of them out there only do few shows, and I guess they can skirt around the law, but I'm not comfortable doing that. And years ago, it was a lot easier, but today the rules are a lot more strict, You really have to file your taxes. Even the shows collect these forms, and if they don't get a form from you, you cannot do the show, or else they get a $100 penalty, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. But they don't check. The shows don't check. I mean, there's a 7-digit number on here, but anybody could write down a 7-digit number. They're not checking on the digit number, so there's still loopholes in the law. And I'm not saying follow the loopholes. I'm saying if you're doing this as a full-time business, you're going to do it. You got to do the right thing. All right. So anyway, that's the sales tax rules. You got to follow the state, keep track of what the numbers are, up to date. I mean, I've asked my neighbor over there in Minnesota, what's the sales tax at the show? And they said, well, we don't pay sales tax. I said, really? Yeah, we sell clothes, and clothes are not part of the sales tax. So I'm going, there's that little detail in there. If you sell clothes and you're going to another show, you don't have to pay sales tax. There are certain times of the year you don't pay sales tax. I think it's a school tax. It's between the end of August and the middle of September. There's a no tax holiday or something like that. And if you're part of that school routine, or you're selling clothes or whatever, then you don't pay sales tax. Those little details are very important to stay up to date with. So I would suggest that you keep a journal. You keep everything very accurate in that journal, because down the road you'll just feel a lot more comfortable. You'll sleep better at night knowing that you're square with everybody around you, and it's nice to know that what you're doing is correct. And that's my advice on sales tax, and I hope we can see you at the next show. Don't forget, if you get a chance, to share my information, and if you can hit subscribe and that little bell on the side. And the next show I've got coming up, I'm not exactly sure what I've got, but I'm going to talk more about the rules and regulations of the show. Like I mentioned earlier, some shows are only 2 pages long. Some shows are about 8 or 12 pages, and there's a lot of little details in there that I'd like to review with you. Not that difficult. I can show you just, you may read those rules and you go, oh my God, what's going on here? No, it's not a problem. They're just making sure that the show tries to go as smooth as possible, which very rarely it ever really does, because it's just, it's like the old expression is, gathering artists and craftspeople together is like herding cats. Very difficult. And so I want to go through the rules to help kind of show you what they're really looking for when they write these rules for the show. Anyway, see you at the next show. Please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.